Has it been a goal of yours to become a leader in your industry or to take higher levels of leadership in your organization? If this has been a goal for you consistently year after year, then what I want to share with you is something that I have been working on my entire career as a coach, an executive coach, and a communication trainer. I want to share with you the great 5 traits of how to become a leader in your industry. When you leverage these 5 traits and you develop these 5 traits, this is what's going to give you the advantage to level up and also to be able to perform at higher levels of leadership, right? So let's go. Great trait number 1 is knowing your life purpose and your life mission. When it comes to your career path, you have worked so hard to achieve the knowledge that you have in a certain subject matters. You work hard to be good at what you do. But leadership is not so much your skill sets, it is not so much your education or your credentials behind it, but it is what is your life mission? What is your most meaningful contribution you can make? Because make no mistake about it, no matter which company that you go to work for, no matter where you are climbing that ladder up to the top, no matter what industry you're from, there's a service that you are putting out there. There's a service that only you can provide, given the combination of your skill sets and the combination of your education and your experiences as well. So what is that service, right? It is about the moment you can be oriented with your mission, the moment you can have clarity around your life purpose, this is where all of the goals that you set moving forward in your career path are aligned with that mission. And this is where you can have the most clarity on how to achieve it, where to go next, and what that path looks like. And this will also give you the opportunity to be on that path on confidence. This is your path of confidence when you have the clarity, first of all, on what is the service, the mission, and the life purpose. And this is one of the most important things. Start here, right? As somebody who's been coaching a lot of executives, once you are clear on your mission and your life purpose, this is like the North Star. And it is one of the most fundamental traits of a great leader. Trait number 2 is speaking professionally. Speaking, this is the art and science of communication. When you observe great leaders in your industry, when you observe senior leaders, senior stakeholders, senior executives as well, you're going to notice that they spend most of their days in communications. They're speaking with their peers, they're speaking with other stakeholders, they're speaking with potential collaborators, they're speaking with investors, they're speaking with boards of advisors. They spend most of their days in communication. And why is that? Right? There's a direct correlation. Those individuals who are contributing the highest level of values in an organization, they're great communicators. They spend their time in communication. And that's exactly why. Have you ever noticed this in your organization? Have you ever noticed that there could be somebody who worked really hard to have great skills, and they're really good at what they do. They have education as well. They have the credentials, and they are just very skilled at doing the work. And you take a look at another person, and maybe this individual is newer to the organization, and they could even be not as skilled as the first person at doing that work. But let's say that they can talk really well. They talk well. They're great communicators. And you'll notice that the ones that are great communicators, their career trajectory goes a lot faster, right? Opportunities come to them, right? People trust them, and they seem to ascend the ranks of leadership. And it hardly seems fair, because we've been programmed by the cultural hypnotic mechanism. We've been programmed by society and the public education system. We've been programmed to believe that skills are the most important thing. We've been programmed to believe that credentials are the most important thing. And then we go into the real world and we see that there are some people who aren't as skilled. They're less educated traditionally, but they talk well and they just ascend the ranks. It hardly seems fair. But if you look at why that is happening, the essence of why this happens is because communication is the highest level of value. Right? So that's what I've been noticing. I've seen this as well, time again. Those individuals who learn to communicate well, those individuals who learn to articulate clearly and succinctly, these are the individuals that make their most meaningful contributions. They're given opportunities. People trust them, right? This is their opportunity to ascend the ranks as well, and they become leaders in their industry. So the good news is that nobody's born a great communicator. No one's born articulate. We're all born the same way. We're all born, we can't even say our own name. We can't say hello, and we don't even understand our own names. That's how we were all born. So speaking, articulation, the clarity of explanation, these are skill sets, and a quality of skills means that they are learnable. They are transferable, right? So if you recognize this, if you see this happening in your organization, and maybe you're frustrated by it, but you're asking yourself, okay, I want to level up. This is my life mission and purpose. I really want to be able to do more, contribute more. You want to be contributing at your highest level. If you're serious about achieving outcomes for this, then I invite you into my coaching. Every single week, I help and I coach and I teach on all aspects of communication, how to become a great leader, how to develop these skill sets that I'm sharing with you today. Every single week, I'm with a group of executives, right, that are leveling up, that are stepping up into greater levels of contribution and leading teams as well, and being true to their life mission and purpose. So if you want that support and you want to know where do I start? I've been trying all of these things on my own. Nothing seems to be working, but you are recognizing that perhaps working with somebody who's done it and helped others do the same, if you're valuing that and you're serious about this, then I invite you to work with me. Right. Below this video, in the description below, the very first link is an application. And this is just to explore whether or not it's the right fit for you and if I could truly help you with what you're looking for. And if it is the right fit, then you're going to be invited to participate, to be a part of this. And this is where I will take you by the hand, give you coaching as well, to really help you, to mentor you to develop these skill sets and so much more. But only if you're serious. So if you are, click the link below, and I look forward to meeting you soon. Trait number 3 is mastering the art of selling, right? Selling is sales. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, sales, isn't that just communication? And you already talked about speaking, right? Sales is not just a subcategory of speaking. It really deserves a category of its own. And here's why. When you think of every conversation, right? Every conversation you're a part of, every meeting, right? Every transaction, every leadership, every team meeting that you're a part of, every time you are building meaningful relationships with people at work and people in your personal life as well. Every interaction, right? Every conversation we're a part of, a sale is being made. Nothing moves forward in business until a sale is being made. Nothing moves forward in a team until a sale is being made. So what constitutes a sale? So let me explain that to you. So when it comes to your conversations with other people, more often than not, you desire to make some sort of a change. It could be you want to make a change in certain processes. It could be you want to make a positive difference in that person's life. It could be you want to help this person in their career path. It could be you want to help your teams to achieve higher levels of productivity and therefore greater fulfillment in their career paths. All of your intentions that you want to create positive change in, all of your intentions on how you want to add value in your organization require you to make a sale, right? Either you're selling them on why this is a good idea, or they're going to sell you on why they can't take up your idea, why they can't receive it. So either way a sale is being made. The question I want to ask you is, who would you rather make the sale? Would you rather be the person who makes that sale, or would you rather the others sell you on why they can't accept it, or sell you on why they're going to object to your idea and why they can't move it forward, right? So either way, a sale is being made, and that's why this is one of the key and great traits of a leader, is having that masterful ability to make the sale. Because if you think about sales itself, great selling is like a service. It is, in fact, it is the highest level of service that you can give to an individual, because it is literally like caring. When you sell somebody, it is the same as caring about them. It is where you are communicating them in accordance to their highest values, when you're uncovering what truly they are needing, when you're uncovering truly the outcomes they want to achieve. And therefore, you're not going to sell somebody something that they don't need. You're not going to sell someone something that's not going to serve them. You're going to sell something, which means that you're going to share your ideas. You're going to explain something. You're going to put an offering out there based on what you can offer, the value that you're going to offer. You're going to offer things that will serve them. You're going to offer things that will help them towards their outcomes, but you don't know what their outcomes are until you uncover their values and until you uncover their needs. And that is a sales conversation, right? So mastering the art of sales not only moves things forwards towards a mission, an improved version of the future, but it also is your service to the highest level. And this goes right loop back to trait number 1, is understanding what your service is. Right? So this is the third trait. It is a very important one. And all of these traits that I'm sharing with you are equally as important. Just so you know, there's not a ranking system on which one is more important or lesser important. They are the great 5. Right? So let's move on to the next trait from here. Great trait number 4 of a leader is disciplined saving and investing to build wealth. Right? So when it comes to being a great leader, this is about building wealth. And I understand that sometimes we have a resistance for building wealth because we're thinking, well, it's not about the money, right? This is not about the money for me. I just want to make a meaningful contribution. It's not about the money. I just want to have personal fulfillment. Or it's not about the money. I'm just really passionate about this thing. But make no mistake about it. To be a great leader, it requires us to build wealth. Why do I say that? Is because when you are building wealth, this is your ability to make even greater meaningful contributions in the world. And it's not just philanthropic contributions, but if you think about it, imagine if somebody didn't put in the effort, they didn't participate in savings and investment, and therefore they didn't create wealth. What's going to happen is that when you don't have that part of you, there's a part of us that does not feel secure in our futures. There's a part of us that does not feel like there is that freedom and independence. And as a result of that, we show up differently. Versus if you really had discipline in saving and investing your finances and you build that wealth. I'm not saying that this is about being greedy. I'm not saying that, because in order to build wealth, there has to be a sustainable fair exchange. You added value to get the value of building wealth, but the key is to be disciplined in your investments. So now when you start to build wealth in this manner, what happens is that you show up completely differently. When you have the wealth behind you, you show up being able to lead by example. You show up having the security behind you. You show up with the certainty that the way you've been building your life, the way you've been able to provide for yourself and your loved ones is an example to others as well of what is possible. So you show up differently when you build wealth, when you are disciplined in your investment. And as a leader, great leaders are good stewards of the resources they have. And financial resources really is something that is wise to be a good steward of, right? So all of these things, when taken together, discipline, saving, and investment is really one of the great traits to leadership. Great trait number 5 is accumulating specialized knowledge through study. Now, specialized knowledge, that might sound a little bit vague, but when you think about it, all of your career path, your history that you've been on, the resume that you have, all of the successes and accomplishment didn't get there by accident. It got there because you have been spending time accumulating specialized knowledge. But everything you know now creates a certain level of understanding. And from your current understanding, always from your current understanding, that's what creates the perceptions you have. That's what fuels your decisions as well. And that's what limits your ability to see opportunities and take advantage of opportunities that come your way. So in order to step up into higher levels of leadership and to contribute more deeply levels of value within yourself, this requires a deeper level of understanding of things. This requires different areas of specialized knowledge. And we accumulate those through study. Now, study doesn't mean reading just to memorize things. Study doesn't mean reading just to pick out what you feel is right or wrong. Study means to really be able to look broadly and research broadly and read across disciplines sometimes for the purpose of having an open mind and knowing whether or not some information or knowledge that you're picking up maybe challenges your understanding of something. It challenges the mental models we have in our head around why things are the way they are, or assumptions we made in the past that we thought were right. Because it's not about what we know or we don't know that's scary. The most scary thing, the most dangerous area is what we think we know, but it really is not so. And that really is the most dangerous part, right? So that is why the 5th great trait of a leader is accumulating specialized knowledge through study, because that is when you can truly refine your knowledge. And some of the assumptions we made in the past that we thought were true, we might through our studies realize that it wasn't quite true. Right? And one part of our personal development is having the openness to be able to expand our expertise so that we can continue to step up into leadership. So as you're listening to these 5 great traits, you might be feeling to yourself, well, there's a lot of activities that I need to perform. There's a lot of self-improvement, there's a lot of personal development, or maybe you might be identifying, okay, this is really where I need to do the most work. Right? So if you're serious about self-improvement so that you can step up into higher levels of leadership, you want to dive into that a little bit more, then stay tuned, because the video that's coming up right up next after this is going to be some tips on self-improvement, on helping you to step up into greater levels of leadership. I'll see you there.